bringing people together.
And now, the World Situation Report with Kimberly Gogan from the Office of the Guardian. The attempted war in the Middle East heats up on Friday as the Treasury scam fails and the Iraqi Prime Minister visits Washington, D.C. Find out the real story and the events that have followed. Tensions rise between the cartels, the black nobility, global headquarters, the secret space program operatives, and governments worldwide. Could today mark the first day of a turning point? Now here's Kimberly Gogan with the Office of the Guardian. Hi, Kim. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
I know.
I'm like, what day? Oh, Monday.
It's Monday. Probably
another long
Monday.
Weekend, you know. I'm looking forward to the day where there won't be long weekends and there'll be sunshine and hikes with my dog, you know. Really looking forward to that someday.
Yeah, but
not this weekend because as I was about to end the day, finish up, my phone starts, lighting up with, Iran, Iraq, all of these different things that were happening on Friday night. So I spent several hours having conversations, not only with Agent M, who and several others in the area, trying to get a grasp on why this is happening.
Okay.
So the players in the game appear to be the following, and this is important to understand as I talk to you about what happened there on Friday. So the players in the game are the cartels, and we knew they were having a big meeting on Saturday, right, and I'll talk to you about that. You also have Langley 5 and some remaining operatives that are still listening to them, who are very good at what they do. Let's be fair. You still have a few remaining members and other operatives that they have been able to recruit because, remember, their numbers were very slim, to continue to work with them and for them. And we have the global headquarter folks who also are refusing to do anything other than what they have done all this time, so to speak. Now, what happened in the Middle East is directly related to what was about to happen over the rest of the weekend. So number one, word did trickle down through the ranks by Friday evening, on my time, that the oil cartels of the Middle East were not getting paid. There was no successful laundering of money. Now, I will repeat something. I've told you this story before, but in case you're new here, Iran during the Cold War had partnered with Russia in 1979 in order to utilize Iran's Heidelberg Press. And for those of you that don't know what a Heidelberg Press is, a Heidelberg Press is a printing press for United States dollars, and they could be found prior to a global banking system in pretty much, I would say, several different countries that did a lot of business in dollars. So I would say you would find them in China, the Philippines, Iran. At one point in time, Russia had one. I know that I've seen them also in certain parts of Africa and also in Brazil, Venezuela. You can find them all over the world. Now, the plates are the key for these Heidelberg presses because for every allocation, this little sequence number on your notes changes, and the plates are then transported only. So the idea behind putting these Heidelberg presses in different locations was for ease of the spreading of the Federal Reserve dollar to every country in the world. In this way, they could then put this money on deposit in their respective central banks and do large business with the U.S. government a lot faster. I use the term U.S. government lightly, a lot faster than it would take to ship this amount of paper or transport it all over the place and that kind of thing. Yeah. Well, during the Cold War, Iran had partnered with Russia in order to utilize the Heidelberg Press located there to print trillions and billions and trillions of United States dollars from that location in order to flood the market with U.S. dollars and crash the U.S. economy, just like allegedly the United States did during the Cold War to the ruble. Okay. It was the same type of strategy. At the same time, there was a lot of turmoil in Iran with the Shah, the then Shah, being overturned at the time, and a lot of alleged U.S. involvement in the overthrowing of the Shah. Now, for those of you that don't know, this had to be pre-agreed because the former Shah and the last Shah of Iran was from the Order of the Black Sun and a member of the Pahlavisini family, who and the rest of his family now resides in California, United States. Okay. So Iran is blaming, at the time, the United States. It's deny, reassess, blame. But in actuality, this was all an agreement. In order to install an Order of the Dragon member known at the time as, we now have Khamenei. At the time we had Khomeini, if you remember correctly, as the imam and the alleged head. I guess you would say, I know they have other heads of state, but that is mostly what you would call the head of state there. And it has been so ever since, even though the current one has passed away. But just like in the United States, when a president passes away, you put a mask on somebody's head and you continue as the operatives around that person and pretend that he's alive, just like Biden, just like Trump. And Khomeini is no different over there in Iran.
Yeah, we've talked about that before.
So the parties and families that are around Khomeini are also members of the oil cartel. The same goes with Sistani in Iraq, because Iraq was also hit this weekend, and al-Sadr, two very prominent alleged religious leaders that worked together or had worked together with Khomeini as members of the oil cartels. Now, both countries are no stranger to sanctions. Lots of oil sanctions, gold sanctions, all kinds of sanctions for many, many years, decades even in some cases. And that will bring you to the oil cartel's business model of charging between, 20, 25% to launder black oil money and move black oil around the world, black oil for black oil sales around the world. And by black, I'm not talking about the color of the oil. I'm talking about black market sales, to be very clear. So part of what erupted is, I would say, had to do a lot with the failed transactions that were happening at the Treasury Department and them being lied to. In addition to that, we have currently still the Iraqi Prime Minister in Washington, D.C., meeting with other masked men. They love masks on people, all of these people. Even Sistani is that's a masked man as well, that just to keep everything going. I'm not sure about al-Sadr, but I know that, in the Middle East, as things go there. So this failure to launder oil money, in this particular case, led to an uprising there. But this was all being orchestrated true to form, and I'm going to say by the book, and I'll tell you what the book is in a minute, by the book, by operatives working for Langley 5 and with the SSP. I would say they work with both. They know some of the operatives that have been recruited by the SSP, and they also work for Langley. Now, by the book, let's talk about war by the book. Okay. War by the book means these are the ways you create wars. You do this, you do this, you do that, and then, this happens. So it's kind of like working at McDonald's, where you have one almost meat-looking like substance, right? One patty of that, whatever that is. You have 1 tablespoon of onions, 3 pickles, 1 teaspoon of mustard, 1 teaspoon of ketchup, and then the bun.
Yeah.
Well, war is done the exact same way. I mean, if you get a McDonald's hamburger in South Africa, it's the same thing as getting a McDonald's hamburger in the United States or Canada. It's the same everywhere. And it's done that way on purpose. Now, war is also done this way on purpose. Because remember, no war is actually real.
Mm-hmm.
That is very important to understand. No war is actually real. This is all orchestrated. So they need to know where everybody is going to go all the time, which is why you are not permitted to start a war that is not by the book.
Right.
Now, you have a few different scenarios to choose from. It's kind of like, how do I say? You know how like when you go to a spa, it's been years since I've gone to a spa, but you go to a spa and you can pick between like the day packages. You could get a massage and a facial or whatever it is you're going to do there. And it comes in these neat little packages. So you have war package number 1, package number 2, package number 3 and 4. But at the end of each one, the bun is separate. So you have to get the bun separate of the rest of your meat byproduct package and your pickles and your onions. But you can choose onions, no onions, ketchup, no ketchup. Maybe you want to add some cheese on there and have a cheeseburger war, or something like that. But this is the best. I know it's funny, but this is the best way I can explain it to you so you understand. Maybe you've got 2 beef byproduct patties and some special sauce in this one. But it's one of the following things. And anybody watching this war, even from any other country, also has the same war book. Yeah. So the U.S. has the same playbook as Russia has, as China has, as the UK has, as Iraq has, as Iran has, as Israel has. They have the same book. So then they know where to go.
So then all these exchanges that we're seeing now play out in the media, like Biden, saying don't respond, telling Israel don't respond, all of that. That's just for us. That's the theater. That's the production, right? But everyone knows where this is going to go.
That's right. So everybody already knows this is going to happen. Now, today they're announcing that Israel is going to fire back at Iran. Mm-hmm. Here's what I have heard. Well, let me finish this up. So we all know wars are cookie cutters. There's only like 5 different spa packages you get in war. Yeah. You can only pick through these specific items offered by the lords of war. Mm-hmm. So one of those was selected over the weekend. Well, I would say it started probably mid last week, because my intel from the ground tells me that they have also murdered a Christian leader in Lebanon. This has all happened in the last 7 days, and deposited that dead person into a territory that is 100% controlled by the Hezbollah in Lebanon. So then they report that this person is dead, found in this territory. So then who else could have possibly killed this Christian leader in Lebanon but the Hezbollah?
So they're planting evidence.
Well, it's the same. See, and this is why it's so easy to see, once you have a copy of the war book, then you understand, oh, this is the American operatives. Oh, here they are. I don't know. They might even be from Alabama. I'm not sure, and they could be SSP people also, because when you don't have a passport to plant somewhere in a large disaster, because you're kind of all broke, so then you kill one guy and deposit him in a region, just like you did the passport during 9/11, and then attempted to do near the bridge in Canada not that long ago. We know it's the same people, don't we? We can put two and two together in every area. Now, this has not hit American news. The only thing that hit American news, as far as I understand, and probably what you call worldwide fake news, is we are seeing the bombing happen from Iran.
Yeah.
Now, if you have been questioning things and awakening for a long period of time, you'll remember Netanyahu over a decade ago, standing, or close to a decade ago, standing at a UN General Assembly meeting with a giant hand-drawn cartoon bomb, and the name, he had a cue card that said this, and he held it up during his speech, talking about how Iran was going to bomb Israel. So they have been talking about this for a very long time. Now, this all was orchestrated prior to the fact that they did not get paid. So this was all set up. It's been brewing now for over a week. The Lords of War, so to speak, have chosen spa package number 3 on the list of items. And then here come the pickles. Here come the, and you've got the Christian leader in Lebanon. You have other situations going on with the PMF in Iraq as well. Allegedly, there are several Hamas leaders that died that didn't actually die. That is also in Middle Eastern news. So there's a lot of what I call setups here, that led to this escalation that we saw on Friday. So the Lords of War, these are Americans trained under Cheney and Bush, absolutely 100%, because the massage therapist that just pushes you to the limit when you order that spa package. That was like less relaxing to be there than it would be to go, right? So, yeah. Or, you get the one that, so you can kind of tell who trained under who, maybe at this favorite place you've been going for a long period of time, by their technique, let's just say, since we're talking war packages here. So the technique absolutely came from some Americans, clear as day, know exactly who it was. But what happened was to them is that by Friday evening and into Saturday morning, it was they delivered the pickles, the mustard, the ketchup, the onions, and the meat byproduct, but no bun came. Bun, in this case, is where's the money? Because you set up the war and the money would come out. They would then, it's like, so what they thought, this is what it appears to me from an SSP or Secret Space Program operative level. What I see is them believing that there is still an automatic call payment. For those of you that don't know, a call payment is when you sign up for automatic payments for example, your electric bill, and then it automatically is called out of your account on the day that you set up. You don't have to do anything. That's like a call payment. So they think they can do the same thing still with the Alpha system. They can start a war, and then the buns will come out whether I like it or not.
Yeah.
Now that only works under old programming of the Alpha system. Now, I've been reprogramming the Alpha system to be in line with what humanity wants for a long time. I mean, my first time really getting into it at all by myself was probably the end of 2015. So it's been about 9 years of learning how to program a quantum system with zero computer experience in programming. Absolutely zero. I might have programmed a few websites or something. So this has all been a learning process for me.
Sure.
Sorry, and let's just say a lot of help from source and understanding quantum computers, quantum physics, and things that these people clearly don't understand. So by Saturday morning, these people were livid. My alarm went off. I got pulled into a meeting. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, you say these people, specifically who really upset?
By these people, these would be the people that told the operatives, the American operatives, to orchestrate the war beginnings in the Middle East.
Okay.
So this would be your secret space program people. There's a couple in there we've talked about in the past that worked with the Treasury Department. So you do have some financial and quantum computing guys in there. CyberLife. And then you have the global headquarters people.
Mm-hmm.
They are also under the impression that the U.S. military was going to get some money, but there would be the second tier down. And Langley 5. So these groups now are livid by probably 2:30 in the morning, Saturday morning, because my alarm started going off, listening to these people have a chat about how they're going to handle me. We have to get her, that's me, under control, and we need to get her to give us access to the Red Book. Now, I've shown all of you on camera before the Red Book, what it looks like. It was red. It was tied to a portal under the Library of Congress, as talked about in the movie National Treasure. But the biggest thing that I noticed that for some reason, I skated right over it on that particular page, because it actually says John, and John is spelled incorrectly, which all stuff is from their original documents and the way they did it. And the last name is Trumb, Trumb. So I went in looking, I'm like, oh my God, that is John Trump.
So who's John
Trump's
Trump?
uncle? John Trump, the physicist, the scientist, Project Paperclip, came over to the United States. He was listed in there, so he had an account in there. So could that be the reason why all the Trump SSP operatives were planning on windfalls and installing Trump bucks for the 9,000th time on Friday and Saturday?
Mm-hmm.
Did they think that? So I couldn't figure out why they were so determined to get that particular account, like of all the accounts that were out there before in the past, tied to these organizations, why is that the one?
Okay.
Like, So needless to say, I didn't get much sleep on Saturday morning and didn't get much sleep Friday night. So there was a few hours in there where we were okay. But in the beginning, it was like a sandwich. It was what I call an operative crap sandwich, on this end, on that end. It just didn't end on Saturday. So needless to say, no one actually approached me, but I knew that they had another meeting planned for later in the day on Saturday. Okay. Now let's talk about the cartel's meeting on Saturday.
Right.
So they did a lot of analysis. It appeared that they actually have something that their former leaders don't have, and that's common sense. They are not waiting for an alignment with Uranus because no other alignment has proven fruitful in any way in pretty close to, if not more than a decade for these people. And the only time they had any bit of success is with me behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And they have realized also they probably would have had more success if they could cut out all the middlemen. So this is some common sense. Things that she wants. What does she want from us?
This is what they were saying in the meeting? That's
yes.
how they were talking? Oh, it's funny.
Yes. Things that she wants. new technologies, new ways of living, new things, and these guys are actually, for the most part, okay with that. But, the general consensus amongst them was we can live with that. We could profit from that. We could find ways to make sure that we're making what we're making now, and we don't have to do this crap anymore. There are people, have been through a lot too. Not saying, that includes the oil cartels. It's always, it makes for good movies, but not for a good lifestyle.
Yeah.
In any way. So they believe that I am reasonable in my requests, for things that we've talked about, and that this is doable. So they said that they were going to wait until today before taking ultimate action due to the fact that these other folks, the SSP, ETAL, on their side of it, said that they would be able to launder their money properly by Monday. Yeah.
There we go.
Well, they didn't anticipate them coming to the table. So word started getting out, the more, it started to trickle down through the ranks. And of course, most of the agencies and whatnot have people inside and working together with. You've seen the movie American Made. It's no stranger there that there's not people that are, so now they know the end result of this meeting. So then Saturday afternoon, the SSP gets into their meeting Saturday afternoon. And the meeting, actually, I shouldn't say that. There was a partial meeting on Saturday afternoon where they were all screaming at each other, SSP. Calling each other inept. Yeah. The black nobility was actually there as well. Just get it done. Just get it done. And you can't just get it done. So they agreed they were going to meet the following day. So it was a short meeting. It was a lot of yelling and screaming, failures, what's happening now that they know that everybody there is prepared to move on. So the next meeting that took place was Sunday, probably around noon Eastern time or so. And this was between the global headquarters, SSP, Black Nobility, Langley 5. I don't think I left anybody out there. That was pretty much it. And it was a small select group of people who compared notes. How did you do? Have we been to Anchorage, Alaska before? Have we been here before? Have we done this before? What else could we possibly do? And it kind of came to a head where they were seeing that there wasn't much left that they could possibly do to be successful between then and the following day being today. Mm-hmm. Well, this angered the SSP people quite a bit. Now they feel, and I can actually point out a few videos of that they participated in. They feel that they are superior and that they know better than everybody else. They have been around longer, in some cases as long as 5,000 to 6,000 years, as far as an organization, not these people. Yeah. They have had interactions with non-humans. They have had lots of interactions with lower astral beings. They had direct messaging coming from lower astral beings to their brain. Mm-hmm. For the longest period of time. Therefore, they are in contact and superior to everyone else. And they feel their key to success is to get control of her. You need to get control of her. By her, that would be me. They are unhappy, unwilling to recognize the fact that we have been directly participating in the destruction of all things dark on this planet. They have recognized the fact that I run the alpha system and that I'm not letting them in anywhere. That their automated triggers did not trip anymore. And they would like to get control. which is what they've always done, actually, to people that have shown some kind of a skill, be it a scientist with a cure for a disease, be it they take these people and they use them.
Yeah.
That's what they did. And when they had deep underground military bases in Los Alamos that was functioning fully, and, in all these different places around the world. Czechoslovakia, it's not just an American deep underground military base system by any stretch of the imagination. So that was their plan yesterday afternoon. They'd like to find a way to do that. Meanwhile, as a backup, if I don't do what they want me to do, they are going to, murder as many humans on this planet as possible until I decide I've had enough.
Wow.
Yes. More specifically, they would also like to be in charge of the fall of humankind. Quote, unquote. That is a quote.
I think these people need to go.
Oh, yeah, it's been a weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now these group of leaders had to go have a conversation with their downline and explain what was next. Their downline would be, for example, Langley, the Pentagon, the Iranian groups, the Iraqi groups, and all of these various people would be their downline, that participated, are expecting big money today, and had to come up with a plan as to what was next. So here's what they told everybody. They told Langley, as one example, that the cartels would like to be in charge of the fall of humankind. Now, isn't that the kettle calling the pot black, right? They would like to be in charge. The cartels, they had a phone conversation. This is how the conversation started out. And you always know that this is funny because the cartels had a phone conversation with Langley on a super secret line with super secret technology. So super secret, guys, that it never actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a dream fantasy
Yeah.
that this conversation took place. It did not. So their intel tells them that they would like to be in control of the fall of humankind because the elite are not getting the job done. This is what they're telling them. So therefore, if humanity is going to survive, they need everybody on board to save humanity for free. This is what they said. And I even repeated this several times. I said, so what you're saying is that there was a super secret phone call. It's probably part of the super secret sauce in the McDonald's cheeseburgers of war, maybe.
Yeah.
But the super secret phone call, and I had them repeat it like 3 times. And I'm like, well, I listened to that whole meeting yesterday, right? And to my knowledge, as of about an hour ago, which was the last time by the time I got this phone call, I had checked, there was no super secret phone call that took place on planet Earth between these people. So I kind of laid into them a little bit. And I said, here's the reason why the alleged leaders in the prior meeting decided to make this rah-rah session for all of their downline. I'll tell you why. The cartels are many in number. They have arms. They trade nuclear submarines with other people. If you'd like to buy a nuclear submarine, you can do so through the cartels. You can get a passport in any country in the world. You can do a lot of things just like you could do through an intelligence agency.
Mm-hmm.
If you are on the inside, you can get, citizenship to the United States. You can get all of the, like the things they promise their assets and informants. You can get all those privileges and more through the cartels too. They know that they probably have more nuclear capacity right now than Iran has, for sure. And many of you might not know this, but Iran actually purchased nuclear weapons from Israel in 1984. I've said this before. Now, further to that effect, because Iran was running out of money, they actually leveraged those same nuclear weapons over to China, Russia, to get a credit line against them.
Mm.
Just recently. Just like during the Obama administration, the United States military leased back all their equipment to China. So, weapons might not make money anymore, but, at least they can get a credit line here or there, or could at the time. That is no longer possible in the banking system. So as far as the reason why this was important for them is because they do not have enough of a downline at the moment to protect themselves and the governments of the world against a collaborated, coordinated effort of all cartels worldwide. They can't do it. They will not survive.
Okay.
And the way it looks, so after that phone call, I, of course, explained in detail what I just explained to you. I explained why they said it. I explained why I knew there was going to be no money today to fund this. I said, listen, you guys have all been released. You are free to go. Why are you going to jump on this bus? And don't any of you have contacts directly? Because a lot of these operatives and people like the people that called, a lot of the operatives have their own, they've been around the world, they've done the things, you make friends here and there, maybe your comrades in arms, you just have people you talk to here and there. So a lot of phone calls started being made last night to see if this was true. Was there going to be a worldwide war between cartels and agency people and governments? Was that going to happen? Now, remember, you also have plenty of oil cartel people and running, I don't know if you know this, but there's a lot of drugs that run through the Middle East. A lot of them are supplied in that area by other people in other countries. So I'm not saying that this is good or bad, in any way. China is the most prolific proliferator of illegal drugs in the world, as we learned in today's news.
Right.
So as far as these people are concerned, that couldn't be further from the truth. So then they had to take action. And here's all I can tell you at this moment in time. It looked like a complete and total underground network of people passing notes in study hall with orders, instructions, conversation, information, nothing passed on a telephone line, nothing passed. This was the old drop system that you see in movies sometimes, but the information got around. A lot of operatives received information. A lot of people in their downline received information. And then this continued all the way to the wee hours of this morning, at least my time locally here. And this went worldwide. These people are organized beyond your belief. I'm impressed, actually. I'm not saying that this is going to work out. It's not going to work out. I do know that they've had conversations. I can say this much locally here about coming here and sitting down all together, very transparent, them and, both local people and them. Everybody would talk around, and in kind of hashing this out. So we'll see. I know, right? We'll see. As far as the plan, I will tell you that so far today, the secret space program people that are looking to be in charge of the fall of humankind, they have met with a lot of resistance in their downline. Nope, sorry, we can't help you. Nope, sorry, we can't help you. That's Langley 5. Nope, sorry, we can't help you. Nope. Oh, did our pay come? Oh, no, it didn't. Oh, we can't help you.
Yeah.
And it's very short to the point. No further conversation on the other side of it. Nope, we can't help you.
So it's like they're losing their power.
Yep. So this is a huge turning point. This is what I've seen so far today. Now, remember, today is that day everybody was supposed to get paid. But there is a bigger plan being passed around on notes and study hall throughout the world. And all I can say is this. These secret space program operatives that are swearing my name, they should be swearing somebody else's name or trying to find another planet to go live on, because right now this one is not going to be for you soon.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Langley 5. You will not continue in the same fashion that you have for a long period of time. You have failed miserably, all of you. Global Headquarters, Langley 5, Black Nobility, Silent Circle, all of you have failed miserably. And the world does not want to wait, including all of us watching this and myself here, until another alignment with Uranus, a solar eclipse, the summer solstice. I don't know what else is coming up. Easter, Passover's coming. Maybe that's it. Maybe the red cow and the Temple Mount's going to get you somewhere. I'm not sure. Everybody's sick of it. Everybody's sick of your ridiculous texts from thousands of years ago that you get online, and you know exactly who I'm talking about because I'm sure you're watching this too. That you get online on YouTube and you start talking about, we go back and we analyze texts back to thousands of years, even longer sometimes. And, they don't mean anything. Obviously, people, it's been 17 years of the same thing. You have done the same thing, looking at the same books for the same days, and yet nothing happens. You cannot even complete a McDonald's cheeseburger in the Middle East anymore. I mean, I'm talking about a war, No matter which spa package you chose, you would fail because the bun provider was always the person who sat in my seat before me who actually liked you people. Now, see, I don't like you people, and I'm not on your agenda, and I'm not willing to give you an opportunity after the Giver of Life Declaration back in January of last year. I don't have to anymore. I don't have to talk to you people. I think you're ridiculous. Now, the person that gave you those books and the different spa packages of war, let's call them the spa packages of war, wrote the book. My predecessor, the person that sat in the seat before me, wrote those books, and he always held the bun for him to do himself. And in his absence, you get no bun every single time, which means no money comes out to fund your war. Mm-hmm. Now, this has happened continuously with Ukraine. This has happened in other countries. I mean, the Taiwan. No, anybody hear about that anymore? China, Taiwan, big war.
Yeah.
No. Now we're hearing about the Middle East again. So are the Iranians enemies of Israel? The answer to the question is no. Israel is run by the Rothschild family, has been run by the fake Khazarian mafia, fake Jewish people forever. Mm-hmm. And so is Iran since the 1979. So you are the two hands clapping. The Saudi Arabians are also together in that Rothschild family. They marry into these families and they breed, or they create a family in that region. The same thing with the entire government of Iraq. The same thing with Assad in Syria. They are the same people, the Russian government, the Ukrainian government, the people that you think are warring all over this planet are all members of the same family. The cartels have the ability to do what the SSP and all of those looking to kill us all, do they have the capacity? The answer to the question is yes, they do. That was where the power was behind the silent circle, or anti-silent circle, I should say, the black nobility around the world. Mm-hmm. There was your power center. So, and then, of course, at the end of the conversation, with the let's just say a person with the Langley organization. They said, "You don't think she'd send us some money, do you?"
Oh my gosh. Just like circles. They just go around in circles.
Well, I had the same conversation with the Pentagon on Saturday. So they'd like me to get them out of their tenuous situation with the cartels. Now, thus far, okay, I have definitely, I don't know how to say this in a politer way. I have been screwed by Langley. That's happened. I have been screwed by the President of the United States and the former President of the United States and the one before that. I have been screwed by the Treasury Department, the Federal Reserve. Remember all that money, all those paying off of debts? The country of China, the country of Russia, Putin, before whatever that is playing the role now, because that's not real either. You know, I can list off the amount of countries that I've tried to help, and people and politicians and agencies and everyone else that I tried to work with that I tried to help, and not one of them has actually done what they said they were going to do. Not one. Now, my experience thus far in and around cartel people, with the exception of when Bush Sr. tried to set me up with a Bulgarian biker gang. It's basically saying that they got weapons. Bush Sr. had gotten weapons from this Bulgarian biker gang during the Odessa situation about a decade ago in Ukraine. This was the first Ukraine uprising and fight with Russia in Odessa. And then he didn't want to pay. He owed them $500 million and then tried to blame me as the reason why they didn't pay. You know, this is the setup. So other than that little kerfuffle that we had with the setup, in which that was corrected pretty quickly, I've never really done any other kind of serious business with these people. So, you know, if you've never done business with people, you know, you can give them a shot, right? Like, you're not going to hire the same plumber that destroyed your house. You know, you're going to try to hire a new plumber and see how that works out. So that's my plan at this moment. So we'll see if they come to the table. I'm assuming it's going to be a little while based on the operation that I see in progress right now. But if they do come to the table, we'd be happy to have a chat with them and see if we can work things out. You know, we could solve a lot of the world's problems this way.
Yeah.
You know, groups of people that, you know, are willing to change and not
really
do some of the things they're doing.
Do you really think they could, Kim? Because that's the concern on the other end, right? Is people saying, listen, you know, they have done horrible things in the past. They're money hungry. You know, we know money is a form of control. Like, why are we even bothering? You know, you've heard that, obviously.
Well, we've tried to do this with many other organizations on the planet. And to be fair, if they say they're willing to do something, let's see if they're willing to do it. You know, we gave the governments a chance. You know, we even gave some of the elites a chance. We gave people a chance for a long period of time. Now, these people are standing on their own, just like the operatives are standing on their own. Some of them have chosen to join the Lords of War group. Apparently, that's a new operative group on the planet. If anybody wants to join and not get paid and do a hell of a lot of work, you know, go ahead, join that group because it's awesome. It's like playing Dungeons and Dragons and like not really winning anything for real, you know. Now, on the other hand, you know, a lot of them have chosen to stand down. Not, you know, they're not following anybody's orders. They're doing contracts on their own too, outside the realm of what they could have done before. And I don't mean shoot 'em up contracts necessarily. I mean, in some cases, this is more along the lines of, you know, making business deals with their old contacts, doing things that would have been considered in the past off the reservation. So, you know, there is some commerce going on, nothing, you know, severe. They're not going to, change the country or something like that. But they are doing some stuff that they haven't been able to do before. And other ones just have Stockholm syndrome and want to stay. So we'll see. We'll see how this works out. We'll see if these people want to actually change. If they're willing to not traffic, in exchange for X, Y, and Z, which makes them just as much money. I mean, maybe who would want to do that? Who wouldn't want to do that? Maybe they will say they do and they don't, and then we pull all the money back. Nothing happens, and that's the end of that. And they know we have the capacity to do that. We've done it to the governments. Yeah. So, do you want to see a change? Do they want to see a change? I don't know. And then, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen from here on out? Mm-hmm. But like I told the Pentagon, it's the same thing I said. You used to work directly for the Rothschild Order of the Dragon organization. They would send money along with a set of orders and instructions, which you followed to the letter. I send you money, and you ignore me?
Yeah.
So I've already done that kind of business before. I'm not willing to do that kind of business again. That would be stupid. Mm-hmm. That's stupid. So let's see what these people do. Let's see if they can, change, help. Few other things I did want to make mention of, because people have sent me things panicking, because we're no longer panicking about the eclipse anymore. So we need to continue to be panicked about something.
Yeah.
Yes. And so there'll be some chatter about this alleged almost war in the Middle East and for a little bit there. We'll see if Israel actually retaliates, because the Mossad has obviously been contacted. The Mossad and the U.S. agencies are very close. We'll leave it at that. Okay, next thing I've heard, which people are talking about, is the military control the weather program. I think I don't know what year it is this time. It was 2024. Now it's, 2027, 2030, who knows? The military control the weather program would have only been possible should the SSP actually have access to the Armageddon program or Storm AI. It is no longer possible when they do not have connections, because human beings on this planet do not have the capacity to create a system that could actually control the weather at this moment in time. Mm-hmm. Now, 10 years from now, I don't know. But right now, no. Even Northrop Grumman's Sun Shield, and you can look that up, and all the crap that Northrop Grumman does in their own, much like, I call it the Skunk Works program. So just like Lockheed has a Skunk Works program, Northrop Grumman also has a Skunk Works program. Now, remember, these are the same people in the head, the current CEO of that company, who also said that there was a spaceship coming to save them after the harvest thing happens on the eclipse. She's still sitting at her desk right now in the same place as she was before, and nobody came to save them and nobody came to kill us. So we're moving on to the next day, ending in Y. So we expect that the SSP will be out there and has been out there. Like I said, a video that I listened to part of because I can't really stand listening to these people. But it's just good to know where the next fear porn is going to come from, so we can kind of head it off at the pass. I don't think they're actual real events anyway, but for the most part, they got to give the alt media something to talk about.
Right.
Also talk about, is there going to be an election? This is the other question everybody's asking. Is there going to be a United States presidential election in November? I have no idea. Nor do I really care. Yeah. At this point, it's not going to help us any. It's not going to hurt us any. I could care less.
Yeah, it seems
spending 1 minute of.
I was just going to say, it seems like anyone that really puts stock into that doesn't really understand the hierarchy of things like that. That's a show, guys. That's a show for you. Like
Yeah.
nobody that's getting quote
It's
unquote
Hollywood.
elected is doing anything. So who really cares? I mean, there's public perception. I understand that, but they can't do anything to us. I don't know.
It's Hollywood for ugly people.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just
Next.
noise as far as I'm concerned. Like anytime I see anything about elections, I'm like, oh my gosh, please.
Yeah.
Really?
Speaking of dead people still walking around, let's
Yeah.
continue
Yeah.
with dead people running against dead people. So let's continue with more dead people talk. Dead people that died. You remember me having this discussion with you about Klaus Schwab having a heart attack. Langley took him in, made a mask, and then he popped back out. I thought they were really going to announce that he died.
Yeah.
And now there are rumors going around that he, they're joking about it. He drank bad bug juice. He's the one that perpetuates the bugs and a lot of different things. But I have heard rumors that the CIA's mask program people have decided that they may actually let him die in public.
I guess he's not very beneficial for them anymore. Maybe he's lost his touch.
Maybe they're just running out of rubber or whatever they make those masks out of, Or
people to facilitate it and run it and without getting, paid, or I don't know how they're.
It's got to be. Well, I think summer's coming too in the northern hemisphere here, and that could make you sweaty. It's sweaty. Maybe they don't like to sweat. It's sweaty underneath the mask.
Well, we've talked about how much, at least I think we talked about how much I don't know if it's more than one person, but whoever's playing Trump was supposed to get billions of dollars. I mean, Come on, the writing's on the wall with that. You're not getting billions of dollars. You can't even fund your government. Give me a break. I wouldn't be surprised if these people were walking away. I don't know.
Well, it's dangling that carrot, right? Make big houses. You build big castles in your head. Build them really, really big and really, really high. So these people will follow you for a while. Mm-hmm. But the rent comes due. The bills come due. Maybe some morality kicks in about what they're actually doing and how much longer do they want to do it. It appears that given the opportunity and protection from another group of people, all be them who they are. I'm not even talking about myself. I'm talking about what's going on out there. That seemed to be really palatable at the moment. For a lot of operatives that have been playing the game on a different side of the fence. And let's just say, even if I told them all to go away, these people have money.
Yeah.
They don't have save the world kind of money, but they have some money.
Of course, they can't get any money into the system.
Without us. But that doesn't mean, you can't put a little bit in at a time here and there. You can't go buy yourself a TV at Walmart. You can't, you can do some stuff. They have money, also regular money. They have other businesses and ways of doing things too, even on the blacker than black side of things. It's the reason why you always see them owning restaurants. Stadiums are another way. A lot of cash flows around stadiums all around the world. Mm-hmm. And, there's an event, a concert event, and there is thousands of people, tickets sold and all this kind of stuff. And did anybody actually show up? Was there actually an event? It doesn't really matter whether there was or there wasn't. All the cash came in for it, so I guess there was.
Oh, I see. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Same thing with bars. Bars do the same thing. There's lots of ways that people do things with or without the Treasury Department. Trust me. It's not like they're hurting anyway. They have legitimate businesses, on the record businesses, all over the world. So, plus they still have their own networks of people and things they've put in place. Uncle Fred goes to work at this bank, and Rita works at that bank, and everybody knows you don't mess with what Rita does because, who Rita's involved in. And there's a lot of towns and cities and stuff throughout the world, even here in the U.S., that you don't walk into and make a mistake. You know that. Areas of California, areas of Massachusetts, areas of Florida, you know where you're going, definitely for sure as an outsider from those groups. So we'll see. We'll see how this all turns out. In the coming days. The day is not over yet. I can't really talk too much about what's been written on papers being passed in study hall. We'll just leave it at that for now. But it's going to shake out just like all the rest of the groups did. Either they're going to make it or not make it. Meanwhile, we're still continuing to do what we do to try to make other things possible. But this could actually help us out too. You as people creating new technologies, I don't care who you are and how bad or good you think you are at what you think you know, you need an infrastructure that is going to protect you if you are going to get this out to people. You are going to need to transport it into countries where you would fear to tread.
Yeah.
Into areas of the world where you would fear to go. And I know you say, oh, I'm this and I'm that, but you've never been there. You have not seen how it really is in those places. I can guarantee you, if you are about to say that, even Africans that I know that are from the continent will tell me there are places they will not go.
Yeah.
You do not go there. There's certain parts of the Democratic Republic of Congo you do not go to unless you are related to those people and part of that tribe, and you do not step foot there, especially as a white person. I've had arguments with people over this. You need protection.
Sure.
Because so what? The world's getting lighter, and so what? All these things. But these people still wake up every day under constant threat by some country, whether it's the British or it's the Mossad or it's all, some country or another every single day. Look what's happening in Botswana right now. Those of you that don't know, Botswana had the largest CIA base on the entire continent for the longest time. So, I understand you think these are horrible people. And I can tell you right now that there are a lot of people in this world that grew up in places, probably much worse than I grew up in, but I know that my area was pretty bad. I watched the first stabbing, I think I was 11. So, you can sit in your comfy chair in your greatest, nice part of the world, wherever you are, and you can say that's a bad idea. But until you've grown up or you've been to or you have visited these areas of the world, then when you come home, call me and tell me if you still think it's a bad idea.
That's a good point.
That's right. And maybe we should have Agent M back on and he can talk about his, time in Syria again, where they, picked him up, pulled him underground and tortured him for a year. You don't know. You can sit in your comfy chair all you want and talk about you don't need protection and I'm willing to go anywhere and I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread. But you know what? Go ahead. Do you have any experience? Most 99% of the people that say that would say no. They've never been to Bogota. They've never been to Venezuela. They've never been to the place where the FARC or guerrillas hang out. They've never been to any of these places and tried to build a church and a school like they want to. Or invent the cure for cancer, like truly invent the cure for cancer, not just an almost thing. And then, actually have money to put it out there at the same time. You could have the entire country of China against you. Nuclear weapons and all. Told you they produce 76%, if not more. It used to be over 80% of the world's pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, it's true.
Yep. So we'll see what happens. I am hopeful. It's somebody different, at least.
Do you think that's the last group that could possibly come forward that would have that kind of control and influence to really be able to make a positive difference if they change sides? Is that the last one, do you think?
I don't know. I can think of a few others, especially as it relates to the African continent, whereby together and throughout parts of the Middle East, because they're kind of all one group, I could see that changing. I can also see, so during the Cold War, they called them the freedom fighter children. And all of the communist countries recruited young or younger children, which their parents contributed to willingly, to train them to become a group called the Freedom Fighters. So at the time, they were all told that they were fighting for their freedom and all of these types of things. And this was a program that was initially started by the USSR at the time. And those children still exist worldwide to this day. Mm-hmm. Although many of them were recruited by intelligence agencies in different places and central banks in different places. And did they infiltrate these places at one point in time? And then, kind of after the Cold War, they probably, they kept in touch with their freedom fighter kids that they grew up with, but they didn't, there's not really a USSR, there's not a Cold War anymore, that kind of thing. But these kids are still out there. Mm-hmm. That they're actually a force to be reckoned with as well. They're obviously not as powerful as, for example, a group of highly armed, worldwide, every nationality you could possibly think of group, but they're decently large. Mm-hmm. They would have access to that kind of stuff. They know how to use that kind of stuff because remember, they were highly trained at the time. Right. So I could see them being a force to be reckoned with. Now, as part of this program that has existed for more than a century prior to the Cold War, there is another group that attended special colleges. You've heard me talk about these people, special colleges around the world in the past. And they were trained in all kinds of arts. For example, lots of scientists come out of there in order to do, at the time, when these people, and this has been going on for a millennia from this school. Mm-hmm. Some of them were trained in finance, but in order for them to be trained, to be utilized, for example, for the technology division of agencies where they search out technologies, and see if they function and then try to steal the technologies, which happens a lot, or whether it's a danger to their people, so to speak, that they work for. You have to be trained in that. You have to understand the technology. You have to understand if it could actually even be industrialized. Is that a real thing, And so a lot of those people for a millennia have come out of certain schools in Asia. So those people could be helpful.
Can you say which schools, or you don't want to say?
Yeah. Well, you probably wouldn't know it even if I did. Okay. Unless you're from Japan, in which case you probably know which ones I'm referring to, and they probably are also nameless to you. Okay. So, but yes, so you can see there's some of these programs out there, some people that got involved with those that could be very helpful as well, should they decide to go against where they came from.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that'll happen with the right kind of protection. You never know.
Right.
Now, there's a lot of scientists around this world, too, that are in hiding.
Mm.
So,
So what about
That could
on
definitely
the positive, I'll say the positive, the source side of stuff? Are there any updates on, I know you were running programs and stuff like that to dissipate, the dark attaching itself to the light. Is there any update there?
Right. So the cleanup that needed to take place in order for the quantum entanglement to begin unwinding was completed by Saturday.
Okay.
That's for sure.
Okay.
I am sure it's probably going to take a little bit of time. I don't know how long that's going to take till we are completely unentangled. I know that so we talked about the manipulation of dark matter by using machines.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also the way humanity has lived for a long period of time. So you've been heavily manipulated, and I don't care who you are and how wonderful you think you are and enlightened you think you are. You have been affected by dark matter on this planet. Dark matter, dark energy, dark consciousness has been manipulated in your person by AI and computer systems and AI beings. Sorry, you have been. The lack of control over that dark matter actually puts you in control of your own matter, dark and light. Now, the requirement for your physical existence to include dark matter, and I understand could be a little disheartening and a little upsetting, but the important thing to understand is the manipulation of the dark matter in your person is going away. Mm-hmm. So are there physical symptoms that could arise from this? Somewhat. You've been, how do I explain this to you? There's a lot of things that you learn to live with in life sometimes. You have a sore hip, you have an old injury, you have a knee injury or a joint problem in your knee. You maybe have walked with a limp your whole life due to something you were born with. You learn to live and overcome a handicap, even if it's just small. It could be temporary pain due to working too hard or working out at the gym or whatever it is, but you learn to overcome and you still go to work the next day and do your thing. You learn to live with the fact that you have a giant belly for 10 months or whatever it is, 10 months, hopefully 40 weeks. And you live with that. You still get around. Your feet might look like Fred Flintstone and they might be swollen and purple, but we can walk into that grocery store and get what you need. I can promise you can. But we learn to live with these things. And I'm not saying that that's not a positive experience there, but not having those niggling random pains in your head that would come from darkness is a positive thing. But then you get so used to living with them, it almost feels foreign when you don't have it. It's kind of like when you lose the big belly after 10 months. You're like, yeah, your body's still not quite right, but you still feel you don't realize how difficult it is to move around and to meditate or to do whatever it is you're doing. When you don't have that big belly on you, you don't have that weight, you don't have the manipulation of the dark matter. Now, what is it going to feel like when you don't have dark matter at all quantum entangled into your body and your matter of your person is created in a different way? You're probably still going to have people emotionally attached to those pains. In some way, whether they're mental pains, they're emotional pains, they're physical pains, it's going to take a little while for people to recover in general. hence the reason why I said security, because there are people that are just not going to understand. You're speaking a totally different language, one that they cannot learn by watching Rosetta Stone tapes.
Yeah.
No. Times are changing. They are good changes, but be ever, humble and aware that, people are people. We have all lived in and learned how to survive in an environment that is not conducive to human life. We still have people, as of the last 48 hours, talking about being in charge of the fall of humankind.
I know.
This has not gone away. These people are crazy.
I know.
And then trying to blame it on somebody else. Yeah. Super secret phone call. My booty. No way. No.
Everything with them is secret. They're secret.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, that's why you couldn't detect it, Langley, because it was on you don't know these people. They have the best systems in the world. They're so super secret.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So super secret. It must have happened not in a known dimension of this universe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow.
Anyway. Well, that's the World Situation Report for Monday. Still moving forward. We'll find out more between now and Wednesday about the outcome of the notes that were spread around Study Hall. We'll find out if Israel still, even after receiving proper information, made agreements and all that, still decides that they're going to, bomb Iran in retaliation. I did also hear one other thing. We talked about the Iraqi prime minister in Washington, D.C.
Mm-hmm.
He was told to come here by the same operatives that orchestrated this mess over there, because he was going to be on national TV, international TV, announcing with the fake dead president of the United States that the dinar has revalued.
So you said was, so obviously.
And we're now implementing, he's still there waiting.
He's waiting, but that obviously.
Oh, yes, still there waiting.
Yeah. What are they waiting for?
Somebody to perform.
Okay. So he's going to be.
Whether he knows it or not, but he's just told, just give us till the end of the day. We'll have it taken care of, couple little glitches here and there. The deep state doesn't want your currency to revaluate and implement the new dinar, don't you? So we got to fight the deep state for you. Just sit tight in your hotel room and enjoy Washington, D.C.
Satanic Washington, D.C. Yeah. Okay.
Dangle the carrot. Constantly dangle the carrot.
Wow. Mm-mm.
Yep. They're good at it.
Yeah,
They're
they
carrot
are.
danglers.
Yeah, they
Poor
are.
carrots.
All right. Well, I guess we'll see what happens. See if anything happens in the next couple of days. See you back here on Wednesday.
Yes, we will.
Okay. Thank you, Kim.
Want to share news from UNN? Help us change the face of social media and use it for good. Connect with us through our online channels. Our social media team creates clips from each newscast you can easily share with people you care about. That's also where you'll find our UNN Meme of the Day, a great way to encourage critical thinking. Links to all our social media sites are available at the bottom of our website,